Hey guys, so this is the next really big disturbance. So we have a pretty big disturbance around in the tropical Atlantic region near the Cabo Verde Islands, and we need to talk about some things in the Lesser Antilles and the Greater Antilles. So first of all, there's a 30% chance it's going to develop. Earlier, a few days ago, it was about 10% chance. Now it went up to 30, and now there's a lemon pointing at the Lesser Antilles and some parts of the Greater Antilles. So I'm going to talk about in this video. So first, we have an elevated risk for weather impacts from hurricanes, such as landslides, mudslides, from dangerous river crossings, and life-threatening flooding. So please do not be on the roadways Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, or if you need to, please use very much caution. Stretching from the British Virgin Islands all the way down to somewhere around Barbados, you need to watch this closely, as tropical storm impacts could also come, but it's very uncertain. So Puerto Rico, Haiti and the Dominican Republic, or Hispaniola if you like to call it, Cuba, Jamaica, you are not under elevated risk right now because first, it's too uncertain to tell if it's going to come your way or not, and number two, if it rolls over Puerto Rico and weakens, then there's not much of a threat than the flooding and rain threat. And it might swing up to the north earlier. It's just too uncertain, as this is still 4, 5, 6 days out, and we can't forecast this. It's just starting to get uncertain, so we need to pay attention to the forecast. But high uncertainty, yeah, it's very high uncertainty. You can see the low pressure system where it is, and if we just go back to the other slide, you see the X was where the National Weather Service thinks the center of circulation is, but it does have a clear center of circulation. It just has a bunch of dry air in it right now, and based on the models say. All models say this is going to either develop into at least a tropical depression, and the European and the GFS at times can show up as a weak hurricane. But I'm gonna just say around the average, probably going to be some tropical storm force gusts for the British Virgin Islands, the Lesser Antilles, and some parts of the extreme southwestern or southeastern Bahamas. It's possible. And well, it gets too uncertain after that point. So I'm gonna just say right now that this probably is going to be Nadine. I know there's another threat in the northwestern and the northwestern Caribbean. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but yeah, that's mostly what I wanted to talk about this system. And we're just too uncertain to talk about anything else about the system. Same for the other system, which we're about to talk about in just a minute. And in this next slide, we will be talking about something that is not highlighted on the NHE, but probably in the next advisory or two, will be highlighted with a yellow or orange X. So let's get into it. And there is increased convection around this low pressure system. Look at all the convection bubbling, like just sitting there bubbling. And it's kind of similar to what happened with Helene, where it formed and started to look like this, and then started to organize, but got some wrapped up in dry air. But then it explosively intensified in the Gulf, making landfall eventually near Perry, near the coast of, I forgot the landfall site, but somewhere in between Tallahassee and Perry. And so also this is elevated risk for Jamaica and the Cayman Islands for the same reasons, and there's tropical storm conditions are possible, but this one is more widespread because it's a bit more certain than the 94L, as it's still out to sea. But this one's closer to home, and we can forecast it as it's already forming as we speak. So, yeah. And Nadine, there is a race between 94L and this disturbance in the Western Caribbean. It's going to trek northwest. So they're going to trek northwest and eventually hit the Yucatan and enter the Gulf, Bay of Campeche, Gulf of Mexico, and then possibly hit the Gulf Coast or just slam into Mexico. But if that's just strong enough, some models are hinting that it will pull to the north and hit Florida. But I don't know about you. I don't know about you guys, but I know Florida has been through a lot of trauma. If you go to Orlando, Tampa, Tallahassee, or Perry, or somewhere near there, you will see only destruction. So we cannot get another hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico. If it turns north early like Helene did, Florida's in trouble. But models are also hinting that 94L could also, once it reaches the Greater Antilles, possibly move north into the Bahamas or Florida. I'm not saying this is going to happen because I told you in the last segment that 94L is much, much more uncertain than this disturbance in the Western Caribbean. So, and this one's closer to home, and this will be arriving faster, and it's already showing signs to develop. So, I'm pretty sure that we know what to do. So everyone, please prepare in the Caribbean. Don't start evacuating, because it's not my job to tell you that. I'm just here to tell you that be aware. If you're under an elevated risk in this graphic, then please have your preparations for flooding, tropical storm force gusts, and heavy downpours that cause landslides. So just be weather aware, okay? Goodbye.